Federal unemployment benefits are set to expire by the end of this month. And with many states shutting down for the second time in the middle of the pandemic, some are wondering if there will be any type of financial relief from Congress. So far, what we're seeing, unfortunately, doesn't look good, especially when you hear from Donald Trump, who makes it clear that he's not so friendly toward the idea of enhanced benefits. Take a look.
The stimulus bill is running out the end of this month. Yeah. The Republicans say they want liability limits, which the Democrats don't like. You say that you want a payroll tax cut, which even some Republicans are cool to.
Well, a lot of Republicans like it.
Will you only sign a bill that has those two provisions?
Well, we're going to see, but we do need protections because businesses are going to get sued just because somebody walked in. You don't know where this virus comes from. They'll sit down at a restaurant. They'll sue the restaurant. The guy's out of business. Right. So we do need some kind of a immunity. You do need it, just like you need immunity for the police, okay? Whether they like it or not, you need immunity for the police. But they do need a form of immunity. You don't know if they caught it, and nobody's ever going to be able to prove it one way or the other. You can't put these, the people out. Look, the Democrats don't want to do that because they're totally captured by the lobby of lawyers. The lawyers' lobby is probably the most powerful in the country.
What about the payroll tax cut?
I want to see it. I want to see it.
And if it isn't in the bill?
I'll have to see, but yeah, I would consider not signing it if we don't have a payroll tax cut, yes.
Now, the payroll tax cut is what Trump has been wanting since the beginning of the pandemic, and it is a way to gut Social Security and Medicare. But what's happening with Congress? Well, it turns out that the House has already signaled that it wants a $3 trillion bill, and the Senate, though, disagrees, saying that they want something in the range of $1 trillion. The White House is now involved in these negotiations, and considering what we heard from Donald Trump, things don't look good. The best thing to come out of the previous stimulus bill was the more robust unemployment benefit, and that is what helped keep many Americans afloat when they're unable to work because they've either been furloughed or laid off. Now, the $3 trillion stimulus package passed by the Democratic-controlled House in May would send aid to state and local governments and provide another round of direct $1,200 payments to taxpayers. Very generous. Republicans hope to unveil a tailored package in the coming days, likely to be about $1 trillion that would include a series of liability protections for businesses, hospitals, and schools. So let's just stop right there because I want to explain what that means. Republicans do not want people to remain safe, and they don't like the shutdowns. They want to encourage people to go to work, which is why they're trying to force schools to reopen. And what happens if you're, let's say, an employee at a company and you get sick because the company isn't doing what's necessary to protect you? Well, what Republicans are trying to do is clear these companies of any potential liability issues so they don't have to deal with any lawsuits. They don't have to deal with workers' comp. So that is the mind of the GOP here. They're not thinking about, oh, hey, how can we keep people off the streets? What can we do to prevent people from losing their small businesses? What can we do to make sure that the children that we pretend to care about so much don't go hungry in the middle of this pandemic? That's not what they're thinking about. They're thinking about what can we do to protect our corporate donors and ensure that if they mistreat their employees during this pandemic, and if their employees either get sick or die from coronavirus, they don't have to worry about getting sued or deal with any type of legal ramifications. That's what Mitch McConnell and the rest of these greasy Republicans are thinking about.
So the priorities here should be, can you keep as many Americans alive as possible and then work your way down? And yes, we care about the economy, we care about people's jobs, and we're really worried that if they can't go back to work and they have no money left, there's desperation is gonna set in. Then small businesses, which are the most impacted, and then finally big businesses. Of course, Trump and the Republicans have it completely upside down. So they start with first, big business, what do we need to do? Well, we need to make sure that they get protected from lawsuits. Now that's actually a complicated issue. People are suing and potentially will sue a lot more on just about anything you could imagine. I caught coronavirus from Burger King, I caught it from Gap, I caught it from my computer, I caught it from the bushes, and I'm suing you all. Does that happen? Yes. Will that happen on a mass scale? Yes. So is that annoying? Yes. On the other hand, when businesses get immunity, they will do what the meatpacking plants did. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother giving you masks. Just get back in there, work right next to everybody else. We don't have to worry about any liability anymore. So I'm gonna make my workers do anything I want, including things that are unsafe, they'll say. So now how to solve that really hard question it's tough. It's really tough, right? But it's not done with just give everybody immunity. Workers have no rights. Let's just drive them back in, right? And I don't think that it's a black and white issue. So I don't think it's as simple as saying, no, you should be able to sue everybody and their mother over coronavirus, even though you don't know where you got it from. Those frivolous lawsuits can drag a lot of small businesses down too. But we don't have a sophisticated guy in charge. He's a total knucklehead, and all he cares about is his big business donors. Then you move to the payroll tax. Now, Obama did a payroll tax cut too, but it had a sunset because they wanted to make sure that it did not damage Social Security and Medicare in the long run. Now, Trump doesn't care about a sunset, doesn't care about damaging Social Security and Medicare in the long run. All he cares about is stimulus that goes to first the businesses, but also the workers in this case, as soon as possible before the election, because the economy is, the biggest driver after his donors. And then finally, when you get to healthcare, he's like, as we told you earlier in the show, cut. So cut funding to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, insanity at this time. Cut it down to zero for the new requests. He approves none of it, including what Republican senators want. Contact tracing and testing, cut it down to zero based on the new requests. So the very last priority he has is actually doing his job of protecting your life. But his motivations. That in the past, and today even so, the rest of the media will not tell you why he does what he does. Yes, he's a narcissist, etc. Yes, finally the media talks about some of the political ramifications, which they wouldn't in the past. But do they mainly tell you it's the donors that drive all of this policy? No, we're here to tell you what the reality is. And that's why you get these perverse results and these insane requests that seem to make no sense if you actually cared about fighting the disease.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.